Everybody needs a donkey. A donkey will get you where you need to go. A donkey will carry your burdens for you. And a donkey will tell you the truth about things that are in the way. We all need a donkey. Balaam needed his donkey. It did all those things for him. It got him where he was going. It carried his stuff, and it let him see what he could not see. Today, donkeys are a bit of a joke. When you read this story, maybe you thought, why is he riding a donkey? Why not a horse? A donkey, they're so funny. These are things you pin a tail on at a party. These are things that you use as a symbol for foolish stubbornness. Donkeys are comic relief in movies. That's what donkeys are good for. Why a donkey? But Balaam riding the donkey is not meant to be a funny picture, even though we may think it looks a bit humorous. Donkeys were what people wanted and desired. Everybody needed a donkey. They were affordable. People couldn't afford horses. Horses were too much money. A donkey would eat anything it could find in the desert, and horses are picky eaters. Donkeys are great. They work hard all day. They're strong. Their strength to weight ratio is incredible. And they have great endurance. They can work all day. Another thing about the donkey is they're very sure-footed. So they're on a path. They will not veer unless there is danger. They have a high sense of self-preservation. If they see danger, they will go the other way. That's why there's no such thing as war donkeys. It doesn't work very well. Who wouldn't want a donkey? I want a donkey. Carry my burdens. Take me where I want to go. Tell me about things I can't see. Everybody needs a donkey. In Numbers 22, Israel had been wandering the wilderness for years now, and they're getting close to the promised land. They find themselves on the border of Jericho, right by the river Jordan, and they're in the land of the Moabites. And people are getting nervous because Israel has been powerful in conquering tribes along the way, and there's lots of them. There's this big host of Israelites on the plains of Moab, and they are afraid. The king of Moab, Balak, is afraid. The Midianites are afraid. So they decide they're going to do something about it. And they decide what they're going to do. What's best to do with this host of mighty warriors is not go into open warfare, but spiritual warfare against them. They're going to do that. So they hire this guy. He's a spiritual mercenary. His name is Balaam. He's got a reputation that he can weaponize blessings and curses to the highest bidder. You want to bless someone? You hire Balaam. You want to curse someone? You hire Balaam. He will get it done. So they decide to pay him a huge amount of money because they want to curse the Israelites. They think it's their only hope. So Balak, the king of Moab, sends this embassy to Balaam with this huge sum of money, gold, silver, not frankincense and myrrh. It feels like we need to roll that off the tongue, right? Not that, but gold and silver anyway. And approaches Balaam, offers him this fee to curse the people of Israel as they're coming into the land. Balaam's first response sounds bang on. Like it sounds like this guy is a bona fide prophet. This is the right thing to say. He says the right words. He says this: stay here tonight, and I will report back to you with whatever answer the Lord gives me. So he plans on speaking to the Lord, Yahweh, the God of Israel. Funny question to ask, though, isn't it? Can I curse your people? He's going to ask him that question. So he says the words that sounds right. Sounds like he's kind of following God. So God also talks to him that night. That night, when he asked them him to curse Israel, God says, don't curse this people. They are blessed. So Balaam rejects the offer from Balak. He says this, go back. I won't do it. These people are blessed people. It's not going to work. Balak and the Midianites don't give up. They decide to offer a second offer. So they send more powerful people, fancier people, dressed up nicer, and they do this art of negotiation thing, right? They come with a second offer to Balaam. It's this big delegation. Basically says, I will give you anything you want. Your wildest dreams will come true. You will be flush with gold and silver if you just curse them. He says this, even if you gave me a palace filled with gold and silver, I could not do anything small or great that goes beyond the command of the Lord my God. It's the right answer, isn't it? That's what a faithful person would say. I'm not going to curse God's people because I'm not supposed to. God says not to. But then he says this, but stay here tonight, and I'm going to ask again. Maybe God will change his mind and I can take you up on your offer. Maybe we can cut a deal. It's interesting because he'd already been told that Israel is blessed, and he knows Israel is blessed. He knows why. It's not like he doesn't understand. It's not like this requires a great deal of discernment. It's not like he's diligently seeking God's face to make the right decision, looking for confirmation about something unclear. He knows. He asks again anyway. This time God says something a little bit cryptic. It might have been an exciting answer for him because he maybe thought he got his way. This is what the Lord says to him. Go with them, but only do exactly what I tell you. So the next morning he gets up early because he's ready to go collect his pay. Gets up early and saddles his donkey eagerly. And he wants to cut a deal, right? A curse for cash. Let's make it happen. But something happens on the way. There's an angel in the path with a sword, and Balaam doesn't see it, but the donkey does. So the donkey veers off the path into a field. Balaam doesn't know what's going on, but he's kind of annoyed. His faithful donkey that's supposed to stay on the path that understand paths took a path that wasn't a path into a field. So Balaam beats the donkey. Okay, now, just about beating donkeys. This was kind of normal. I know we don't beat donkeys today. They carried sticks to beat the donkey to get it to listen because they're stubborn, right? This is kind of normal stuff that people did. Donkeys weren't pets to them. So I'm just saying, I'm not agreeing with that, but I'm just saying this isn't a standout thing in the story, okay? Don't get distracted. This isn't about kindness to animals. This is not what the story's about. Beats the donkey with a stick. Okay, so get back on the path. So beats him back on the path, and the donkey is going along. And they're in this vineyard with this narrow pathway with walls on both sides. And the angel appears again and again. Balaam doesn't see the donkey. And the donkey swerves to the side of the path to kind of try to get by and crushes Balaam's leg. And he is so mad. He beats that donkey again to get it going. So the angel appears again a third time. And this time the angel appears in a way that there is nowhere to go. You can't go around, can't go anywhere. There's nowhere to go. The angel is blocking the way, sword in hand. And the donkey with Balaam on his back just lays down, kneels. However donkeys kneel with people on their backs, does that thing. And this time, he beats her. This would be the SPCA call, this one. He beats her. Then something happens. They have the conversation, and what's strange about the text is like, This is just normal. Like he's like, why is a donkey talking to me? There's nothing of that. Just he starts having a conversation with his donkey like it's an everyday thing. We don't know, maybe he talks to animals. I don't know. But he doesn't seem surprised. So the donkey says, why you gotta go be so mean to me? Something like that. And Balaam says, because you're annoying. You're so annoying. You're always veering me into walls and sitting down when I'm on top of you and stuff like that. You make me look like a fool. If only I had a sword, I would kill you. Have you seen a sword around? And then the Lord opens Balaam's eyes and he sees the angel and he sees the sword the angel is holding. Not for him to use, but to use on him. It's a reversal. And he does exactly what the donkey has done. He gets down on his knees just like the donkey, right on the ground, and bows. The angel asks him the same question the donkey basically already asked. Why did you beat your donkey these 3 times? If she had turned aside, I would have killed you and let her live. Why'd you beat the donkey? And Balaam says something that again sounds so good. It sounds so right. I have sinned. He confesses, I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing on the road to oppose me, as if that's the sin. Get that? I've sinned. I didn't realize you were there. I confess. Some irony in this story. Do you see it? Balaam was the seer who couldn't see. Balaam was the prophet who had to hear God through the mouth of a donkey, and the donkey spoke the truth, but he was like a donkey. Balaam couldn't see because he didn't want to. He wasn't looking to be stopped. He was looking for a way through. He wanted to go collect his coin. Balaam cannot see because he is a prophet for profit. And I wonder, am I Balaam in this story? Or am I the donkey? I'm certainly not the angel. Who are you in this story? All of us can be either, but I wonder today how much we are like Balaam and need a donkey. We can be blind to the things of God because we want God for the things of self. When we're on this wide road of self-desires, of our own desires, we're blind to the desires of God. The drive for personal gain makes personal gain our drive. And Balaam needed a donkey to see for him. His desire for profit had made him a false prophet, even while words that sounded true and good kept coming out of his mouth. He was a prophet for profit. We know this to be true because there's a key point in this story. There's a warning for us. It's the second ask that we've already gone over. He didn't want the things of God. He wanted God for things for self. It was not what he would do for God, but what God would do for him. It's not that he wanted to have a life of purpose for God. His purpose in life was for himself. And here's how we know that. God had already told him not to go. And Balaam asks again anyway, hoping, it seems, for a bigger, better second offer, and hoping, it seems, that God would change his mind so he could get the money. That's how he's known in the Bible. That's how he's described in 2 Peter. Peter describes him as this false teacher. He describes the way of Balaam as being a false teacher for personal gain. This is what he says, talking about false teachers in 2 Peter 2:15. They have left the straight way and wandered off to follow the way of Balaam, son of Bezer, who loved the wages of wickedness. Getting paid for personal gain, the wages of wickedness. Doing stuff for yourself. So the essence of this falseness is a matter of the heart. It's a matter of intent. And Balaam can say the right things all he wants to, but he says them for the wrong reasons. And whenever someone does that in God's name, it's a hint that they're in it for personal gain. Balaam doesn't end well. Maybe we could think he just made a mistake, just a one-off mistake, but no, he was in it for personal gain. He wanted stuff, spirituality for status. Yet he does do some things. He does bless Israel. He does prophesy. He does, in fact, prophesy about the coming of Jesus. But later his heart is revealed, and we need to see this. He acts like an advisor to Moab later, again in Numbers 31. And he advises them to hatch up a plan to trick the Israelites into idolatry and sin, so he can see them fall down. The road Balaam was traveling on was never the straight and narrow, never the path of shalom, never the path of loving justice and mercy. It seems like he didn't like giving the blessing where he could give and be paid for a curse. When Israel finally goes to war with Midian, Balaam is killed among the Midianites. An enemy, not a bystander. He's killed as an enemy of Israel. I want to say that story is uncomfortable, because Balaam isn't a complete fraud. He's not a cartoon character like we sometimes make out sin and bad acting to be. He's a complex mix of both. He's a mixed bag of good and bad. He's a spiritual mercenary, a diviner in it for profit. Yet also, he genuinely speaks with the power of God. He blesses, he prophesies. Real things come out of his mouth that are from God. And I think that is really how people are. We're all a bit mixed. We're not cartoons. We have mixed motives that are confusing. This man who saw the angel, who seemed to have God on speed dial, like just wait, let me have a conversation with God, didn't have a heart for God. He had a heart for self. And seeing the angel didn't fix Balaam. Being confronted, falling face down, saying, I have sinned, none of it actually changed the direction of his life. He didn't want to see. He didn't want to follow. Seeing isn't always the same as believing. Balaam's desire for personal gain delivered spiritual blindness to him. When we prefer reward for doing God's work, when we prefer that over God's work, we stop seeing God. And I wonder if one of the questions for us today, because there is so much in this story that I've missed, but I wonder if one of the questions for us today is, how does our drive for our own agenda, our personal gain, keep us from seeing the angel on the road? Keep us from hearing God's desires for us. keep us from living out our calling. All of us, I think, have a bit of Balaam in us. The personal gain is probably not someone walking up to you and offering you a bag of silver coins. It's probably not that. It's probably different pay. It's probably different gain. Maybe it amounts to this. Maybe sometimes it's approval that we don't want to risk losing. Maybe it's the reward is approval. Maybe it's the comfort that we never want to have disturbed because we love our comfortable life so much. Maybe it's the being right that we just don't want to give up no matter what. Maybe it's the conflict we'd rather avoid than face. So whatever personal gain is for us, it's like Balaam. And when personal gain is involved, it starts deciding what you are willing to see. Like Balaam, I think we can do some things, like keep asking questions we've already gotten answers to. Not because we didn't hear God the first time, but because we didn't get what we wanted. And God is there for what we want. That's the assumption. So we ask again and again, not listening, not seeing. Set on the path we want to go. We don't see the hazard right in front of us. Maybe we're not seeing because we're not looking. We start ignoring things. A warning that we don't like. Words of the Bible that don't align with our desires and goals. Good old common sense. Good theology and wisdom, but we ignore it because we're pursuing something. Or maybe friends that deliver a hard word like that donkey. We write it off because it doesn't align with what we want and it feels threatening to those things. Generally, we don't want to give up our ambitions and desires. And a sign of this, a sign that this might be happening, might be our reactions when something gets in our way of what we want. Anger, frustration. Something's blocking our goal, so we start reacting. We just want to get through. This is why everybody needs a donkey. Everybody needs a donkey to see what's on the road ahead that we can't see, that has our best in mind. And the good news is, you've probably got a donkey in your life. Don't look. The question is not if you have one. The question is, what do you do when it stops in the road? Do you ask God what it might be saying through that? Or do you reach for the stick? Proverbs 27, verses 5 to 6, I think is kind of talking about donkeys. Not explicitly, but I think you'll get what I mean. An open rebuke is better than hidden love. Wounds from a sincere friend are better than many kisses from an enemy. Donkeys, they're the friends who tell you the truth. It's the teaching that you don't want to hear. The Bible verses that we want to skip over. I've had donkeys in my life. Years ago, there was a donkey that got in my way. There was a situation I was in, and he was actually like a mentor to me, so we would meet regularly. One of the times I met with him, this is the first time I started complaining about a situation I was in. How unfair it was. How I didn't want to be in that situation. How mad I was about the situation. And he, like a mentor, just a good mentor, just listened. The second time, I said exactly the same thing. It's so unfair. This isn't just. This isn't right. I deserve better than this. But the third time, this donkey heard me say that, and he said, Kevin, got some advice for you. Either stop complaining or do something about it. I said, you donkey. He was right. It didn't feel good, but he was right. That's what donkeys do. It stings a little bit. But it was good advice. That's one time I listened to my donkey, and it made a big difference. Can you think of a donkey or donkeys in your life? Maybe on the road right in front of you? Can you think of a donkey in your life? Everybody needs a donkey. Donkey will get you where you need to go. It'll carry your burdens for you. It will tell you about things on the path ahead of you that you need to be careful of, that you don't see yourself. But donkeys can't do everything. The donkey could only stop Balaam. She couldn't open his eyes. All any donkey can do in your life is tell you what's in the road in front of you. The question is, do you want to see? That's the question. Do you want to see what the donkey reveals? That's the question that I challenge you to sit with. What's that donkey revealing to you? Where is God's work in your life? And we have to decide to let God turn us around so we can walk in the other direction. Everybody needs a donkey, but we all need to see what the donkey's pointing at. Amen.